All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, all honor, and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahushai, by Hashem, Rahakudash. Yahweh is the truly powerful name of the word ignorant calls God. Yahushai is the truly powerful name of the word ignorant calls Jesus. By Hashem in the name, Rakakudash, Holy Spirit, literally translated Spirit Holy. I want to get double honors to my elders and apostles, great millstone, rule well, teach well, being great example to our younger brothers, and peace and blessings to those full elect. Lord will, I'm part of that number. I'm the Barakah Dar, come back with another video. All right, and Lord willing, it's edifying. This is gonna be another history episode, Ep.2. All right, you know, going into the lies about King James. You know, of course he was a Israelite. All right, and basically what he did, Salakia. Basically what he did, he gathered up his scholars, all right, and translated the scriptures, all right, to the English language, man. All right, because it was originally from the Hebrew, all right. Then it went I believe the Latin, all right, because in the ancient time between the Rome people was scattered around the Middle East, all right. That's what they call it now, all right. And mainly the languages was either Hebrew or Greek, Salakias. I say Latin, Salakia Greek, you know, but Greek and Hebrew. So basically, what they did was the most accurate translation, man. So these other scriptures, for example, Jeremiah 14:2. If you look at the other, the other scriptures, man, all right, it don't have blackened to the ground. The Jews, all right. So, that proves how the King James 1611 is the most accurate translation, man. All right, from the Hebrew. All right, of course, some words. So, like the first chapter says, some words being translated to different language don't have the same power in it. All right. But some of the lies about King James was that he was a homosexual, all right, and we gonna debunk that, of course. That he was a murderer. I believe it's a pedophile, or some shit. You know, and of course they're gonna make up lies about him, all right. But let's go into this article, man. There's absolutely no legitimate historical evidence to indicate that he was. The same critics who decry examinations of the lives of Westcott and Horn as ad hominem attacks gleefully slander King James and by associate deride the Bible translation that now bears his name. First, we must note that whereas Westcott and Hort directly responsible for modern textual criticism, theory, and practice having a major impact on translation employing their methods, King James did not have such influence on the AV. Second, the charge itself is slanderous and false. The historic basis for the change is based on non-eyewitness claims of enemies of King James who resented a Scot being on the throne of England. All right, of course, there was all Jakes. All right. Modern scholars who continue to perpetrate this lie find themselves, quote, modern homosexual authors with a clear agenda to promote and betray their monumental ignorance of the historical context of the writing and customs. All right. These same historians will cite 1 Samuel 18 as proof that David and Jonathan had homosexual relations. Well, that's bullshit, man. All right. Because all it said, it didn't say David or Jonathan did anything, man. All that David did was gave him his clothes. All right. Where did it say that they had any sexual relationship, man? And don't you think the Most High will put him to death? You just say there's no respect of persons. The Most High gonna judge it right away, man. You know? Hey, man, you people, I'm just keep reading further. An examination of King James' numerous extant writing shows him to be a true man and father in deep love with his wife. For complete and detailed research on the issue, I refer to the book King James 6 of Scotland, I believe, and one of England, unjustly accused by Stephen A. Costin, which goes into exhaustively detail on the matter. And I'm gonna, get that later on. All right. Question 3. It says, I have been told that King James was a homosexual. Is this true? All right. And I got the KJVA with the Apocrypha. All right. King James with the Apocrypha. Now, let me get that Leviticus. Let's just debunk that shit, man. Well, I'm going to just read both of them. Leviticus, shit. Hold on. Leviticus 18:22. Thou shalt not lie with mankind, with womankind. It is abomination, right? Now let's read another one. Leviticus 20:13. And if a man also lie with mankind as he lied for the woman, both of them have committed an abomination, they shall surely be put to death, their blood shall be upon them. So if he was a homosexual, don't you think he would be guilty of this? And he would decide to change the precepts up? You know, like these other translations, man. All right, because what these other translations, they basically trying to stop you from they basically trying to stop you from understanding that we the real Hebrew Israelites, man, the Negroes, Latino, and Native Americans. So they switch up the words and the definitions, all right, in scriptures, man, changing up everything. When the scripture said, "He that addeth into it and taketh out," uh, you know, roughly paraphrasing, but brothers know what I mean. All right. Wait, so let me get that addeth. Hopefully, I find it. I'm gonna just find it later. It's all good, but Salakia. Explanation: King James I of England, who authorized the translation of the now famous King James Bible, was considered by many to be one of the greatest, if not greatest, monarchs that England have ever seen. Through his wisdom and determination, united the warring tribes of Scotland in a unified nation, and then joined England and Scotland to join the foundation of what is now known as the British Empire. At a time where only the Church of England possessed the Bible in English King James, desire was the most common people should have the Bible in their native tongue. Thus, in 1603, King James called 54 of history's most learned men. All right, he gathered the scholars together and translated it, man. All right. At a time when the leaders of the world wished to keep their subjects in spiritual ignorance, King James offered his subjects the greatest gift that he could give them, their own copy of the word of the Most High, power in English. James, who was fluent in Latin, Greek, and French, and schooled in Italian and Spanish, even wrote a tract entitled Kettle Blast to Tobacco, which was written to help thwart the use of tobacco in England. Such a man was sure to have enemies. One such man, Anthony Weldon, had to be excluded from the court. Weldon swore vengeance. It was not until 1650, 25 years after the death of James, that Weldon saw his chance. He wrote a paper called James the Homosexual. Obviously, James being dead was in no condition to defend himself, man. Lies upon lies, man. All right, and they, bearing false witness against him, man. All right. One quote in the world is that you're doing good when somebody hating on you. Hey, the mirror Lord, hey, we get hated on, man. Hey, they bearing false witness on us. They gonna lie on us. Hey, Esau gonna lie on us to jam us up, man. All right. The report was largely ignored since there were still enough people alive who knew it wasn't true. In fact, it lay dormant for years until recently when it picked up by Christians who hoped that vilifying King James would tarnish the Bible that bears his name, so that the Christians would turn away from God's book to a more modern translation. Right, and why did they call it more modern translation? Because they made it so-called people, quote-unquote, people-friendly, all right, that everyone could be a person, the chosen people of the Most High. Hey, when the King James version, so I'm stuttering too much, but the proper translation tells you only the Israelites, Negro, and Latino Americans is the chosen people, man. All right, but what these Christians changed it up to the NIV, and etc., man. All right, but it seems though that Weldon's false account is being once again largely ignored by the majority of Christianity, with the exception of those with an ulterior motive such as its author had. It might also be mentioned here that the Roman Catholic Church was so desperate to keep the true Bible out of the hands of the English people that they attempted to kill King James and all the Parliament in 1605. All right? In 1605, a Roman Catholic by the name of Guy Fawkes, under the direction of a Jesuit priest by the name of Henry Garnet, was found, I believe I was an Edomite, of a parliament with 36 barrels of gunpowder, which he blew up King James and the entire parliament. After killing the king, they planned on imprisoning his children, reestablishing their England as a state of loyal to the Pope, and kill all who resisted. Needless to say, the perfect English Bible would have been one of the plot's victims. Fawkes and Garnet and 8 other conspirators were caught and hanged. And seeing that those who worked so hard to discredit the character of King James joined an unholy lot. because the Lord was working to him to get that translation, man. All right, because hey, you know, we needed that translation. Okay, you know, he ain't take out. He just translated from a different, from the Hebrew, all right, to the English, man. All right, using him and his scholars. Okay, and I'm gonna read this from Google. It says, "Why is the KJV the only true Bible?" It says the view the translation to be in English preservation of the very words of the Most High Power, and or I'm gonna just say the very words of God, and that they are as accurate as the original Greek and Hebrew manuscripts found in its underlying text. Adherents to this belief may also believe that the original languages, all right, Hebrew and Greek, which is Hebrew, not Greek, can be corrected from the corrected by the KJV. All right, let's get Salaki, my shit tripping. All right, let us get Ecclesiasticus 1. Now I'm not gonna read it all, but this is Ecclesiasticus 1. Hey, that's the spirit. Look at the time, 11:44 p.m. Call Lion La Yahba Shimon Shai. Hey, the word gotta come out, man. Prologue of the wisdom of Yahweh Shai, the son of Sarah. This is a different one. Whereas many and great things have been delivered unto us by the law and the prophets, and by others that have followed their steps for the wish things of Israel, out to be commended for learning and wisdom, and whereof not only the readers must need become skillful themselves, but also they that desire to learn and be able to profit them which are without, both by speaking and writing. My grandfather Yahushua, when he had much given himself to the reading of the law and the prophets and other books of our fathers, and had gotten therein good judgment, was drawn on also himself to write something pertaining to learning and wisdom, to the intent that those which are desirous to learn and are addicted to these things might profit much more and live according to the law. Wherefore let me entreat you to read it with favor and attention, and to pardon us wherein we may seem to come short of some words, which we have labored to interpret for, all right? So let me read again. And to pardon us where we may seem to come short of some words, which we have labored to interpret, for the same things uttered in Hebrew and translated into another tongue, another language, have not the same force in them. Translate, let me get that. Read that again. So like somebody came in. But I'm going to read again. For the same thing uttered in Hebrew and translated into another tongue, another language, have not the same force in them. All right? So, some words, are hard to translate, man. From the Hebrew to different languages, man. All right, but him and the King James and the scholars, they did their best. All right, and the Lord was working through them, you know. But, I'm not sure if I'm making part 2 of this, probably. But I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Shema Shah, by Shema God, without Shalom in the Bible ball. Shalom. If you go to this link right here, it says King James the Sixth, I believe, of Scotland, and one of England unjustly is accused. All right, in which we know he was a black man, a so-called black man. All right, there's only one left in stock, and look how expensive it is, man. All right, that should tell you a lot. All right, Shalom.